came back and leaned on the doorway and he said, "I have bad news for you." And I said, "What?" And he told me, and I said, "What about driving?" That was the first thing I thought of. "What about driving?" He said, "No." And about 6 tears went down each cheek at that moment. And I got home and it just hit me like someone had stabbed me in the heart. I thought, now what do I do? Here I am, alone, legally blind, can't drive. What am I going to do? And it did really, really depress me.
Lilac Services for the Blind, Peggy speaking.
I'm Cheryl Martin, Executive Director. I've been with Lilac for 21 years. I've been the Executive Director since 2000, and prior to that, I was a full-time instructor. We have a part-time mental health counselor, and we don't charge for our counseling services, and it's not only for the individual that's lost their sight, it's also for family members, because when somebody loses their sight, it doesn't just affect the person that's lost their sight, it affects the whole family. So you'll find often that the roles are suddenly reversed, and that can put a great deal of stress on a family.
I provide counseling and psychotherapy. The jumping off point with these clients is beginning by assessing what limitations they're experiencing in their lives, what the things are that aren't working so well that might be related to their vision impairment. They may be dealing with depression, anxiety, they might be unhappy with the quality of their relationships because they have lost sight and that was valued in their previous relationship somehow. A lot of times the vision impairment is really honestly a side note. The rest of life gets in the way, and sometimes they have domestic violence concerns, a death in the family, any normal number of issues that people deal with.
When I started losing my eyesight, this is the first place that my doctor told me to come. He said, "They're wonderful, they'll do so much for you, and you'll learn so much." And I have, and I've made a lot of good friends there.
I'm a rehabilitation teacher, and I teach the independent living skills, and I also teach the orientation and mobility with a white cane. I cover 8 counties in Eastern Washington. A lot of times when you go in and you sit with them for the first time and you're telling them what Lilac does, they're a little overwhelmed to begin with because their doctor says you're going to be going blind and there's nothing we can do. But then they'll refer them to Lilac Blind, and we'll go in there and sit down with them and talk to them about things. We teach independent living, so anything that someone is having difficulty with because of their vision loss, we go in and we sit down with that person and we ask them a lot of questions and develop a plan with them to teach them the necessary things they need to know to remain independent. So that would cover like money identification, cooking, medication management, plugging items into the outlets, identifying food items in the refrigerator, grooming skills, how to write, how to manage their bank account, paying bills, and we teach them how to use residual vision because even though most of our people are declared legally blind, they still have some residual vision, and with the vision that they have left, we're able to give them a handheld magnifier and teach them how to use it so they can use the vision that they have left.
Hi, I'm Deb Bocut, and I've been here, this is my 5th year at Lilac Services for the Blind. Somebody's been diagnosed with macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. They come here from the doctor because the doctors told them they can't do anything more for them. Glasses won't help. So they come in here and I evaluate what magnification they're going to need to start with. We determine by reading a chart what their reading level is, like if their vision is 2200, 2400, and then we know where to start to get a magnifier. When you get to 14 power, basically you're reading letter by letter.
This book is Cleopatra. table of contents. It says Cleopatra Contents, Volume 1. The first major section is early. This machine that you see in front of you right here is a brailler, and a brailler has 3 keys on it. It has 3 keys on the left, 3 keys on the right, and then a space bar. For someone who doesn't want to use the computer but still wants to communicate with someone who is blind, then the brailler is a great piece of technology.
Adobe Flash Player Update dialog. Install now button to activate. Press space bar.
We're going to be in the Lilac Parade. We have a group of people that have guide dogs, and we're going to go through the Lilac Parade. We do Tai Chi every week. We do art classes.
We have 2 different support groups that meet here. We have one that meets the second and fourth Wednesday of each month from 10 to 11:30. It's called Excited. People come in for that group. And then we also have a support group that meets here every Friday. It's kind of like a game, you know, they play games, they have some support, but it's kind of a social group for people.
Diabetes and juvenile diabetes on the rise. Iraqi war veterans that are coming back blind. We have a lot of new clients, which is surprising because for years the trend has been going down. Laser surgery, other things have been able to fix things, but now we're seeing a huge increase in numbers.
The biggest challenges for us are the lack of funding. We are short-staffed. We desperately need to hire more instructors, and we just don't have the funds to do that.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, for this. It will help me.
It's a good organization.
They've been great for me.